All right.
Happy birthday, Anna! Ever since you were born, we have called you the Beans. And so this year for your birthday, we got you one of our favorite books that's about someone who's full of the beans, too. This is called Skippyjon Jones, and you should have it already, so we want you to go get it. Your mommy and daddy have it for you. And sit down and open it up and read it. Follow along with us while Uncle Ben reads it to you, okay? And you can let Nora and mommy and daddy listen, too.
Every morning, Skippyjon Jones woke up with birds. And this did not please his mother at all. "Get yourself down here right now, Mr. Kitten Britches," ordered Mama Junebug Jones. "No self-respecting cat ever slept with a flock of birds," she scolded, "or ate worms, or flew, or did his laundry in Mrs. Doohickeys' bird bath."
Ow.
The lecture went on as usual. "You've got to do some serious thinking before you leave this room, Mr. Fuzzy Pants," said his mother, "about just what it means to be a cat. Not a bird, not a mouse, or a grouse, not a moose or a goose, not a rat or a bat. You need to think about just what it means to be a Siamese cat. And stay to your closet," she added, closing the bedroom door. But once he was alone, Skippyjon Jones began to bounce and bounce and bounce on his big boy bed. "Oh, I'm Skippyjon Jones, and I bounce on my head, and once or 6 times I land on my head." On his way down to earth from a gigantic big bounce, Skippyjon Jones shot past his bedroom door. "Holy guacamole!" exclaimed Skippyjon Jones. "What was that?"
What was that?
So up he went again, and again it appeared. Then, using his very best Spanish accent, he said, "My ears are too big for my head. My head is too big for my body. I am not a Siamese cat. I am a Chihuahua." Back on land, Skippyjon Jones climbed into his toy box and rifled through some of his old junk. After he put on his mask, his sword, and climbed into his mouse, Skippyjon Jones began to sing in a muy soft voice. "My name is Skippito Fresquito. I fear not a single bandito. My manners are mellow, I'm sweet like the jello. I get the job done, yes indeedo." Back in the kitchen, Jujubee, Jezebel, and Jillaboo Jones were helping Mama Junebug Jones make lunch. "Can Skippyjon come out of his room now?" asked Jujubee. "No," answered Mama Junebug Jones. "Mr. Fluffernutter is still thinking." In fact, Skippyjon Jones wasn't thinking about being a Siamese cat at all. With a walk into his closet, his thoughts took him down a lonesome desert road far, far away in old Mexico. Not long into his journey, a mysterioso band of Chihuahuas appeared out of the dust. "Ay caramba! Who goes there?" asked Skippyjon Jones. "They go by the name of Los Chimichangos," growled Don Diego, the biggest of the small ones. "Who are you?" "I'm El Skippito, the great sword fighter," said Skippyjon Jones. Then the smallest of the small ones spoke up. "Why the mosquito, dude?" "I go Inca mío," said Skippito.
Where is he?
"Do you like rice and beans?"
What like?
This is the smallest of the small ones. This is Don Diego, the biggest of the big ones. "See, I love rice and beans," said Skippito. "He might be the dog of our dreams," said Rosalita.
Where's he?
"Perhaps," said Tia.
Where's Tia?
Right there. "Perhaps if he knows the secret password."
What's that?
It's Rosalita.
Oh, I know. I know Rosalita.
Leaning toward Don Diego, Skippito half sneezed, half spoke the secret password into the Chihuahua's very large ear. "Ah, Chu Pichu." "Bless you," said Don Diego. "Gracias," said El Skippito. "Then it is true," cried Don Diego. "Yip, yippee, yippee-do. It's the end of Alfredo Bezito. Skippito is here, we have nothing to fear. Adios to the bad Bumbalito."
We go.
Then all the chimichangas went crazy loco.
Oh, what's
First.
factory?
They had a fiesta. Then they took a siesta, which is what Sam and Kelly need to do right now.
Where's can fit?
But after waking up, the chimichangos got down to serious business. Using his paw, Don Diego drew a picture in the sand of the great Bumblito for Skippyjo to see. A hush fell over the chimichangos so great that one could hear a whisker drop. Oh, Besito, whispered the crowd. El blimpo, Bumblito, bendito. See, said Pico Pito, the bendito still have frijoles. Not your beans, cried El Skippyjo, enraged. See, Poquito continued. Red beans, black beans, Boston baked and blue, cocoa, coffee, kidney beans, pinto and jelly too. And now he comes for us, Poquito said. ¿Por qué? asked Skippyjo. Because we are full of the beans too. Then Don Diego stood tall and his most somber voice declared, Yo quiero frijoles. Huh? asked Skippyjo. The dude just wants his beans back, man, said Poquito Tito. And you're the dog for the job. Me? Skippyjo? And all the chimichangos went towards Skippyjo, the great sword fighter. But poor Skippyjo had no time for a plan, because in the blink of an eye, a gigantic shadow darkened the landscape. The chimichangos scattered in all directions. Vámonos, Skippyjo, or it is you, the bandito, huiro. Skippyjo stood his ground, but his legs shimmied and shook like the jello, and his teeth chattered like castanets. And in a muy soft voice he said, My name is Skippyjo Fresquillo. I fear not a single bandido. But Alfredo Besito flew straight for Skippyjo, until the bean-eating bandito hovered only inches away from the great sword fighter's face. Holy frijoles! Cried Skippyjo as he thrust his sword in the air. Suddenly, pop! went the bandito, landing on Skippyjo's sword, and quicker than one could say, Chihuahua's cheese.
Sorry for the interruption, Anna. But Uncle Ben had to get back to work and Sam had to take a nap. And we had problems with the video. So I'm going to finish your book for you here. Suddenly, pop went the bandito, landing on Skippyjo's sword. And quicker than one could say Chihuahua's cheese and crackers, every kind of bean came spilling out of Alfredo Besito, the Bumblebito Bandito. Then all the doggies burst into song. Yip yippee yippee-to, our hero is El Skippyjo. He's the dog of our dreams who delivered the beans, and now we can make our burritos. Back at home, there was such a ruckus coming from Skippyjon's room that Mama Junebug Jones and the girls just had to find out what was going on. They raced down the hall to the kitty boy's room. Benquito, Crashito, Papito, Skippyjo! Just in time to see Skippyjon's closet exploding. Then out flew Candy, beanbag doggies, and the kitty boy with his birthday piñata on his head. Skippyjon Jones! Everyone cried. Hola, muchachitas, he said in a muy soft voice. Mama Junebug Jones lifted up Skippyjon and covered his head with furry, purry kisses. What am I going to do with you, Mr. Cocoa Pugs? She scolded. That night, when he was supposed to be going to sleep, Skippyjon began to bounce and bounce on his big boy bed. Oh, I'm Skippyjon Jones with a mind of my own, and I'll bounce on my bed for hours. I know I'm a cat, but forget about that. Say goodnight, Skippyjon Jones, called his mama. Buenas noches, mis amigos. Happy birthday, Beans. We love you.